What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning and welcome to the Shred Show Live with me, Josh Pitts. And I've got two of the most handsome, extraordinary, and most visionary leaders in the entire industry hanging out with me this morning. And we're going to get into some really exciting stuff. So make sure you tune in because Caliber Club, the first rule of Caliber Club is you do talk about Caliber Club. Join us as we go. Here we go. All right, guys, I am so excited to have these gentlemen with me. Both of them have been two of the people in the industry that I've watched from afar. I've got to know Tony a little bit in the past, but these gentlemen are, again, the leaders doing things with caliber that I am so excited about and that help us push our industry to the next level. So, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Tony Kottenbrock and David Schroeder to the Shred Show. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Josh.
So I'm excited to have you guys both on the show. Tony, I've had you on the show before, actually live from a conference. David, the first time Shred Show. I get to have you. I'm excited to have you guys. And as you guys can see in the background, I couldn't have planned this better if I tried. Tony has the Caliber Club, the Caliber Club in the background there. But I want to get to know you guys a little bit before we get into the Caliber Club. I'm excited to talk about it. But David, for those who don't know David Schroeder, tell us a little bit about yourself because you've been in this industry. You know it well. So tell us a little bit about you and your experience here.
Yeah, first-time guest, long-time fan. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you today and all the things that you're doing, talking to leaders in the industry and great loan officers. So yeah, I started as a loan officer back in 1993 and worked for several years doing that. Started a couple call centers in the mid-90s with some friends of mine, and then I made a shift when the .com era started and moved over into that area and got to know the e-commerce side of the business and just everything that's gone with that. A great foundation, great opportunity. And then 2001, I made the shift over to wholesale, and I've been in wholesale ever since, working for, I guess, 3 different entities, great people, great companies along the way. I will tell you that the thing I love about wholesale, and I share this with everyone that'll listen, is just the entrepreneurial spirit and the diversity. I tell people every office I walk into, it's like Forrest Gump box of chocolates. You don't know what you're getting. There's so many different personalities and ways to approaching the business, and I learned something new from every one of them. So excited to be a part of it today, and excited to be part of the industry continuing to grow.
Dave, that's what I like is, again, coming from an originator background like myself. It's funny because I actually finally just from the Utah DRE got my updated license today. Coming from that origination background helps leaders like all of us who are doing these things, who are part of executives teams now at lenders, to really understand the mind and what it takes to be an originator as things continue to evolve, things continue to change. Having that background, knowing that we were in the trenches just helps that much more. So I didn't know that about you. I didn't know you had been an originator. You were an originator yourself. So there you go. Tony, again, you've been on the show. I've had you on the show before. Tell us a little bit about Tony, those things, maybe some things somebody doesn't know about you on the show.
Well, as you can see, we talked about it before getting on the show, but I do love the fact that we've rolled out the Caliber Club, and it's very exciting. We had a fun shoot a couple months ago now, actually. We were able to get together even in this COVID environment. It's the last time I was actually able to see David live, but we had fun doing it. It's been exciting to roll it out, and you can also see him enjoying being a Chiefs fan right now, originally from Kansas City.
Nice. That's one of those, like you said, you gotta ride away as you can because there's ups and downs with those teams. But hey, you gotta take with the good with the bad with any sports team. So I'm excited to have you guys on the show. We're talking about something that not a lot of people were talking about it because it's really exciting. In the world of wholesale lending in particular, the entire 2020 was a whirlwind for everybody. There was a lot of ups, a lot of downs. Interest rates are phenomenal, but there are opportunities and there are things that lenders like Caliber are doing to really start to separate themselves, to differentiate, to help originators, again, going back to its core, help originators start to separate themselves, to give them tools, to give them the things that they're needing to become better, to improve day in and day out. And one of those things that Caliber has done is the Caliber Club. So let's start with that. David, for a kind of an introduction, what the heck is Caliber Club?
Yeah. So, look, there's a ton going on in the industry and technology. We all know this. It's exciting. I think one of the things that's really fueling the broker channel growing as much as it is because we all have access now to tools that just a few years ago seemed unimaginable to be able to access these kind of tools. All that said, at the end of the day, this is a relationship business. LOs relating to their customers, processors serving their customers to get it to close, and wholesale lenders like ourselves really getting in with our partners, whether it's the broker owners, the loan officers, the processors, understanding exactly what they're doing day to day and how we can grow together. And so that is the origin of Caliber Club. It's a mechanism for us to recognize and reward the best partners that we work with. And when I say best, it's quality metrics that we're looking at. We can talk a little bit that as we dig in, but it's really, who's working to master our process and how can we help you master our process so you fully leverage the technology we have. And then, you mentioned it at the outset, Caliber's doing some exciting things. We have a big servicing operation. We have different kinds of originations. And so we want to provide our partners then with access to learn what we're learning along the way. Because, for example, earlier this year, the nation went through a major jolt with the COVID and the shutdown, ton of personal strife, if you will, for customers and going through forbearance. And because of our relationship in servicing, we were able to help loan officers better understand what was going on and support their customers. And hopefully through that, keep relationships for life. So it's those kind of things we want to give our partners access to. And Tony referenced our filming a couple weeks ago. Normally in a normal environment and hopefully back in 2021, we'll be able to get together and we'll be able to spend time together. That's where all the networking is, right? I mean, I've been a part of some great companies where we've done different networking events and you put on some really cool things and meet interesting speakers. But the thing that brokers generally get the most out of is the part where they just sit with each other and have a beer and talk about what they're doing together. And so those are the kind of things that we want to try to create. And so we're trying to create some different social environments where people can work together, give people access to some of our senior leaders so they can learn along the way. But, again, you asked for a brief overview. That's kind of what it is. It's all about us trying to get a relationship, a different kind of relationship, an elevated relationship with our partners, better understand where they want Caliber to grow, where we can best support them, and then we develop from there.
Man, I love that. And Tony, let's continue on that because that's something that I've always seen Caliber be really good at is focused on the relationship. We work in a relationship business, whether it's from the originator to consumer, whether it's from the lender to the originator, we're in a relationship business and Caliber has always been focused on that relationship. Again, helping the originator, helping build their book of business because ultimately, if the originator can build that relationship with a client, they're going to send those loans to Caliber or whoever. But again, relationships are key, and that's a lot of what this Caliber Club is all about, relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, one of our biggest benefits is we have a very tenured sales force. It's very knowledgeable, and that goes a long way. And really, especially David mentioned earlier that the wholesale channel is growing really by leaps and bounds when you look at the market share. And I think that enables us to take a lot of the new originators and help them out and get started from the very opening of their broker business. And that's a big advantage that we have. And then, becoming a Caliber Club member offers, a lot of benefits out there. It gives the new brokers especially access to things that will help them from an origination perspective, like MBS Highway, discounts on credit and core logic, which especially when you're getting started as a new broker, cost becomes a big factor. And we have some partnerships that will allow them benefit from that. It also gives them access to what we call the brigade. And as David likes to say, and I love this terminology, is the brigade is caliber ninjas that helps these brokers through the loan process. If they're having difficulty, it's a matter of calling their account executive, but it also gives them another resource to call somebody that can quickly help them out with any kind of technical aspect or just a simple question, somebody there that's always available to help them through that process.
Well, and I think that is sometimes overlooked or underrated in our industry because we work in an industry that is ever evolving. It's ever changing. Things are always, whether it's guidelines or this or that, having somebody who's in your corner, having somebody there as an advocate who is always trying to make that origination process, again, not only for the originator, but for the consumer, because that's, again, ultimately who we're trying to help here, having somebody who can help you walk through that process. And again, at its very core, that's what Caliber Club is about. Helping those originators with those questions, helping them move through the process quicker. That's why this, to me, you see other lenders come out with similar programs, but this at its core with the Caliber Club is so exciting. And this is an exclusive club. It's not just anybody can get it. Like, you actually have to qualify, which I think is such a good idea, because I mean, I've seen some other people in the industry like, oh, anybody and everybody, but this is an exclusive. This is the elite. And that's how you really set it up. So Dave, let's talk about it a little bit. What to qualify, what does it take? I mean, you've definitely set the bar, but at the same time, like, it's reasonable. You can qualify. And Tony, you mentioned this as well, especially new brokers. The broker channel is growing by leaps and bounds. People are coming over in droves right now. David, you guys have really set out a plan and an opportunity for new brokers to even thrive within the system as well.
That's right. So let me talk about two reasons why elite is important. And first of all, I'll put it back on our partners. It's important that it's elite because it means something to be part of something that's elite. And spending years going to visit brokers, I always take note of the trophies that are on people's desks when they're there and see who they're working with. And I'm sure that every customer does as well. I mean, it means something when you got a trophy. That's why they hand out a big one there for the Chiefs, as Tony would want to point out last year, because it gets people excited. It shows you're the best. And so that's where it starts for us, is that we want to give our partners who have demonstrated their excellence that ability to show that off in the marketplace. And so that's really where it starts as a visible demonstration. Now, the way that we measure being elite is on 3 dimensions currently, and we'll continue to evolve it because the industry evolves. But right now, what we look at is we look at your lock to close rate. And we want to make sure that what we're getting into the pipeline is pulling through. And I also want to say on all of these, Josh, part of it is what the broker does, and part of it is we're looking at it so that we can have a dialogue. So use that as an example, the first one, lock to close. If we were working with a partner and they say, hey, I want to partner with Caliber, and their lock to close is lower for whatever reason, that's an opportunity for us to sit down and say, okay, what is it about our process that we can work together better to fix? Do we need to be more clear in what we're doing up front? Is there something we can change on the portal? All these kind of things that we want to work together. Obviously, we want to work with every partner who wants to work with us for these kind of metrics. The other one would be a decline rate. And again, there's going to be loans that get declined in the system. That's part of life, unfortunately, as it goes through. But we want to make sure, again, do you understand the guidelines? Have we provided the resources so that you can better understand it? Because no loan officer wants a decline either. That's a poor experience for the borrower. So we want to make sure that we're driving that down. And then finally, our lock pull through at 70% or higher. So we're looking at all of these kind of things to see what's important in our relationship and how do we continue to grow.
Well, and I think it is very important. Again, being an originator, all these factors, ultimately, I know that if I can qualify for this, everybody that's part of the Caliber Club, it's good for all of us. Because if I'm part of this exclusive group, if I'm part of this elite group, I know that I'm going to get a little bit different, I'm going to get a little bit better, more attention for my loan. So I'm going to try to qualify. I'm going to do all that I can. And I know that the other members of this, they're taking it seriously because we are reaping these benefits, because ultimately as an originator, it's helping me. It's helping everybody part of it. And I love this. And Tony, maybe you can talk a little bit about this because David had mentioned it, but you're also bringing originators together. You're also having different webinars, different events for these originators that ultimately they can learn from each other and grow from each other, right?
Oh, absolutely. And right now, unfortunately, with the environment we're in, we have to do it on social media through Facebook and bring everybody together, such as the interview we're doing here right now to bring people together. Eventually we'll be able to get to a spot, David mentioned being able to sit down with a group of brokers and just having lunch or dinner or a beer. But it will involve bringing together Caliber Club members as an entity to be able to discuss situations. How can we be better? As Caliber, what can we do different to better serve them? More than importantly, what can we all do better to better serve the borrower? Sometimes we get caught up into, the loan officer's upset or the realtor's upset. What really matters is that borrower, and what can we do to make it a better experience for the borrower as a group and as a team.
Yeah. One thing I'd add, just is that I'm really excited about, beyond the fact of getting out of my attic when COVID's over, but the fact that we can do these events again, and that, a differentiating point about Caliber is that, we're not just in one central location for our processing, we're in the markets. And so that's one of the things we're really looking forward to with our events is that, we've got 6 different locations where we're processing loans, taking loans in, underwriting loans. And so when we do these events, we'll be bringing them to these centers, because I mentioned before, the most powerful thing that brokers typically get when they attend these events is talking to each other. Right up there, if not equal to that, is actually meeting the people who are working on their loans every day. They tend to talk to the AEs, see the AEs every day, so they love that. But actually getting to sit down with the person who's processing or underwriting your loans and you've built a relationship with over the years, that's powerful. And that's going to be part of what we're doing as well. So that's something I think that's really unique about these events as we go forward that people are going to be able to experience.
I'm so glad that you bring that up, because that relationship with AEs, anybody who's been in origination for any amount of time, they know the importance of that relationship with an account executive. As a matter of fact, a comment that just came in from Jackson Ball from the U.S. Army. Thank you for your service, by the way, Jackson. But he says, Vincent Schiral, sorry, Vincent, if I said your name wrong, is my rep at Caliber. He's extremely professional and responsive. That relationship, and like you mentioned, David, being in person, when we can all get back together, that relationship between account executives, between originators, it's just one thing that the Caliber Clubs just steps up even more. That communication, that relationship that we continue to reference, it just continues to build it, continues to strengthen it. So one last thing I kind of want to touch on here, kind of as a teaser, there's a lot of benefits to the entire Caliber Club, but Caliber Pro, I mean, we don't need to get super deep into that, but this is also, you're giving originators marketing help as well. You're giving them access to marketing tools. So Tony, will you talk about Caliber Pro just a little bit?
Absolutely. It's an avenue for the client to go in and take material that we've even used for our own loan officers, and it gives them the ability to not have to go in and create their own material. They can use material that's already out there, tailor it to any specific needs that they deem as important, and it's already done for them. So it actually, rather than having to go out and use a third party, we talked about costs before, especially getting started as a new broker, it enables them access to the very same material that we use to advertise as well.
That's right.
And this is something that I talk about a lot. And this is why I like Caliber Pro and giving them access to these materials. I talk about it all the time. You have to put yourself out there. You need to be utilizing social media. And when a company basically gives you content right at your fingertips, why would you not take advantage of that? It's a huge benefit to just add on top of what you're already doing, putting out content. So I love this. And again, the entire Caliber Club, everything that it entails and has part of it just is there for the originator. And going back to what you said, ultimately, Tony, it's to help the consumer. That's what we're all in this for. It's to help those people who are going through that journey of home ownership. We just want to make it a little simpler. We want to make it a little easier. And it starts with the originator. It starts with having access to tools and systems like this that can just make that a little bit easier. So guys, as we start wrapping up, I know this has been we've just started to touch the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Caliber Club, but maybe just as we're kind of your final thoughts or anything else you want to add, David, when it comes to Caliber Club, getting part of it.
Yeah, I want to add one thing that I've just got a ton of energy around, and I think that everybody's going to be really excited about this going forward, is that, look, Tony had referenced, some of the things that we offer that we're already doing as a business. And one of those is that we've worked with a vendor on surveys to customers. And I've always been a huge advocate of the axiom that feedback is a gift. That's how you get better, is what people tell you, whether sometimes it's bitter medicine, but you're going to get better from it if you can accept it. And so we've used a tool for years in getting for our retail team in getting the feedback. We use that across the company. We've created a group, or we're part of a group now called Brokers United, where our Caliber Club is getting in early on that as the pilot group to get that and get awareness around it. So they're going to have, again, we talked about this earlier, tools that maybe a few years ago would be unheard of based on the cost to set it up. And now any broker, any loan officer in America can access this. It's free of charge. Brokers United, that's something that's going to be coming out as a benefit of Caliber Club in the next 30 days. We'll be getting that out more broadly. So again, just a perfect example of how we're taking things that we use in our business and finding interesting ways to get that to our loan officers. And, we're at the beginning of this journey. So I'm excited to get more feedback from our partners about how we build Caliber and Caliber Club to grow.
Oh man. And that's what I have always appreciated about Caliber. Even as when I owned my mortgage company here in Utah, as I was originating heavily, Caliber always wanted to hear. I mean, from Tracy Evans, I'm going to give her a little shout out here in Utah. They always cared about me as the originator. You wanted my feedback. You wanted to hear from us so you guys could better the process. And I can say that from an originating, from somebody who had LOs under, as my team who were sending loans to Caliber, you always cared about not just us as a company, but as our individual LOs. You wanted to hear back from them. And I love that you bring that up, David, because that just helps all of us improve. It helps our lenders improve. It helps the whole broker channel improve. So I love that. Tony, what are some of your final thoughts as we wrap up about Caliber Club?
I think it's important to keep in mind, look, we're just getting started with Caliber Club. There's a lot more to come. We meet on it at least weekly, if not more than that. But very important to note, we are just getting started, and we're going to build this thing, and we're going to keep adding for reasons of why people want to be Caliber Club members.
So the thing I'm most excited about Caliber Club is because when we all get back together at a conference, you see the poster behind Tony. Dave and Tony are going to put on the gloves. We're going to have Fight Club. We're going to have Caliber Club right there live in front of every.
We're definitely going to have some exciting events on board for sure.
Say, seeing you go toe to toe at Caliber Club live in an event, that's what I'm excited for. That's what
I've had 9 months to train.
Dave's been pumping in his attic. He's training, getting ready for it. So it's going to be big. So guys, I want to thank you again so very much. And like both of you alluded, there's a lot more to come. You guys have to stay tuned. Brokers United, that's something you're going to want to stay tuned for as well with the Caliber Club. And you can expect it right here on the Shred Show. You're going to hear all about it as it's released. So Tony, David, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We appreciate you, your leadership, and all that you guys continue to contribute to our industry. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it. Thanks for all our partners out there.
Absolutely. Thank you to all you originators, all you brokers, everybody who tuned in today. You guys are absolutely awesome. If you joined us live or if you're here with us right now, comment #Caliber because you joined us and you're shredding here live with Caliber. If you're joining us on the replay, comment #Hustle because you're out there, you're hustling, you're getting it done. Then you're coming back right here to get what you need to succeed and to dominate your business. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we appreciate you. We love you. Now it's time for you to go shred, go show up, hustle, repeat every day. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.